Okay, that's enough of that. Hello, LT. Welcome to the stream. And welcome to Left for Random Talk. You close this, close that.
Hello, everyone. Like always, we are here.
Yee.
All right, then. All right. Glad to see everyone's doing well, like always.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and there are the topics. I'll open mine because I like to be thorough that way.
Yep.
All right. It's been a bit of a slow week. It's been a bit of a slow week this week going on, news-wise, but it kind of happens.
Yeah, with Halloween coming up, a lot of people are just taking a breather from really anything newsworthy.
Which is unfortunate because apparently coming out tomorrow is the last chapter of Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Well, there you go.
I finally caught up, but I chose the wrong Let's Player to do that.
And unfortunately, I can't do a Revs review until after tomorrow.
Yep. This is the sad thing. We want to keep the show on Thursdays because it's been consistent for the past few months. But to just suddenly shift it to, say, Sunday, because it's the only day I'm actually free, it's not really sensible. Because there's a whole bunch of stuff going on Sundays. A.k.a. football.
Yes, but of course you guys are not here for our incredibly terrible schedule. You're here for the show, so we're going to get to it. So today's topics are the following. DevStream 118, overview. Atlas Deluxe skin, new operator clothes for Fortuna. Garuda look and her powers, new crossbow, new mining tool, and Moa pets in the work. New Fortuna information. The business sends out cry for help. Nefanyo owns cybernetics and is killing people to reuse the parts. They're being taxed to death, literally. A little announcer voice there, because EA, of course, EA censors and bans former FIFA pro player after he criticizes the game. EA then claims he violated their terms and conditions in an attempt to save face. This company really is in panic mode over everything, and for good reason. Let's see what else. Call of Duty Zombies. Why is it classic zombies stories do so well while other zombie stories fail so badly? A bit of an overview on the entire zombie series, more or less. And Evil 2 Remake getting a $900 edition. Yes, you heard it right here, folks.
What?
There is a $900 edition of the game.
What?
Yes, it exists. And I'm going to be honest. It better freaking suck my dick for that amount of money. There better be a freaking set of fake lips attached to the damn controller that automatically does this for me every time I score a headshot or something. I know I'm not joking. You know what? Let's open with that first. Let's change this. Let's change the order real quick, and let's open with the Resident Evil 2 Remake $900 edition. Let's open with that instead.
YouTube, please be nice. Oh my god. Oh my god.
So yes, the $900 edition of Resident Evil 2 Remake, also known as the Z version, comes with the following. The game. A realistic map of the Raccoon City Police Station, the converted museum map. complete sketch and dialogue, and complete map layout and everything. A Resident Evil RPD Raccoon City Police Department badge, the art book and what's it called? The official art book and soundtrack. 4 ink ribbons for the typewriter, a miniaturized statue of Leon S. Kennedy in full Resident Evil Raccoon City uniform, and a typewriter.
Wow.
Yeah, that's everything that comes in this Z version. In fact, I'm sending this to you just so everyone is clear. I'm not making this bullshit up.
Who in this day and age still uses a typewriter?
It's aesthetic.
Okay, I'm having a bit of an issue with Discord today. I can't open links that come from the chat, so copy link.
Which chat?
Like, you know how there's those links in the group chat that lead you to the topic list and all that?
Uh-huh.
If I click on that, it's not going to open.
Uh-huh.
So I have to copy the link, paste it, and go.
That is odd.
I know, it's weird. It's been doing that all day. So sharing images is going to be a lot slower today.
That's fine. So everyone just bear with us. It's gonna be a slow one today. It's gonna be a slow one.
Mm-hmm.
However, to clarify, the typewriter is actually not a typewriter. It is actually a keyboard that you would connect to your. Yes. In reality, it's actually the remake is basically addressing the stupidity that was not stupidity, but the silliness of typewriting to save your progress. So instead, basically, since this is 1998, something like that,
give or take, yeah,
it takes place. What kind of lunatic thinks that it's worth night? I don't know, LT. I really don't know.
But it makes me wonder, you remember when BioShock Infinite came out?
Yeah.
And that special box you could get that had the pendant, like the cage and the bird, and all these different little trinkets from the game itself, as well as the game itself. I wonder how much that was.
I could look it up in a second and give us a rough estimation. However, I do want to bring this up. So the in-game universe as to why you're now using the typewriters for the remake is basically, since this is 1998, they still have the big blocky monitors,
Mm-hmm.
And for all those kids out there, just look up old grandpa PC. You'll know what I'm talking about.
Look up Windows 98.
My God, I feel old.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, since where those monitors are a thing, and the keyboards are not exactly the most easy thing to find, Umbrella decided to say, hey, we've got you covered. Here is for all of those old-timey folks, here's a replica of a typewriter that you plug into the monitor. So that way you can type on it like you're typing in an old typewriter.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, this real version of the typewriter also allows you to plug in your iPad, so you can use it to type as well.
Oh, wow. That's handy.
Yeah, that's the joke. It's to make it like you're actually typing on an old typewriter. It's like, okay, I'm fine with this. But for this kind of money, no. This is like some super hardcore, what's the word? Collector's edition shit that we don't need.
If I had the money to burn, or if I pointed it out to my dad, we would likely buy it.
Unfortunately, you would also have to buy it in Japan, because apparently it's only being sold in Japan.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's like, really, guys? Really? Whatever. I will also mention this before I forget. The Z edition also comes with free codes for the future DLC stuff. So your costumes and things of that nature. And you remember how we covered the Resident Evil 2 beta edition? You know,
Yeah.
the one that the early stuff. Yeah,
The one
this
that
one
had really
actually.
cool designs?
Yeah, they are actually bringing those designs back as costumes. Claire will actually get the NASCAR NASCAR driver jumpsuit Eliza was supposed to wear.
Interesting.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why people spend money on games. Then again, like not like going to a store and buying the game itself. I mean like spending money to get something in a game.
Again,
I don't understand this.
You know what it is to me? Like when I see that, I see it, and my only thought in this whole thing is, you're buying pixels from a screen. This wasn't worth it.
Yeah, I see all these. I see like Resident Evil 2, like remake and all that shit. I'm going. The horse is now sludge in the ground. You can stop beating it already.
Exactly. Okay, here we go. So the BioShock Infinite Collector's Edition that had the statues, the pendants, all that shit, right? That was $309.
Oh my god.
So it was more expensive. No, it's less expensive than Resident Evil 2 Remakes Z Edition.
Well, Resident Evil 2 has been around longer than BioShock.
Still freaking weird to me.
This is the one thing I really don't understand. They keep remaking Resident Evil games. Why is it always 2?
What do you mean? Why is it? Oh, right. Because 2 is like the most popular out of the original. Is how I like to call them. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the one that basically it's never done anything quite like that before. There's never been a game series where you're in an entire infested city and you need to escape. It's never done. Like no game had ever done that before.
Plenty of movies have done that, but no games.
Exactly, not to that scale, I should say.
Yeah.
And that said, Resident Evil 2 is the most interesting because it's also the one that introduces a lot of cool shit in terms of like Resident Evil lore, like the liquors, the more mutated monsters, It's the most fun setting to visit, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
I say fun, I mean fun in terms of like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I am interested to see where this goes now, because basically they've just confirmed that we're bringing some beta stuff in as costumes. So what else are they going to bring back from the beta?
They would have to rewrite and tinker heavily just to add in new creatures entirely.
Oh, speaking of new creatures, there was a cut monster for Resident Evil 2, and that was a giant zombie horse.
Oh, good gods.
And I'm not saying like giant as in like, like a draft horse or anything like that. No, I'm saying giant like the size of a giraffe, kind of big. Apparently this one was like, it was going to trample everyone to death. I think that was I would have liked to see that, the creature, I mean the concept, not the trample to death part. Man, just imagine they bring that back for the remake.
Giraffes range, like for males it's 16 to 15 feet tall, give or take. Females are 14 to 16 feet tall. The tallest horse in the world, I believe, is 9 feet currently, and he's a big boy. He's got a bowl haircut. I love him. He's so cool. I believe his name is Big Jake.
Yeah, that seems about right. That's definitely a horse name.
Yeah.
But
The previous world record was like back in the 1920s. His name was the Brooklyn.
oh, okay. Well, it's good to see the legacy of large horses is still going on alive and well. Anyway, but yeah, no. So, like I said, the remake is aiming to bring some interesting things back, and ignoring this incredibly expensive price for the collector's edition. It's again, this is shaping up to be not just a simple remake. Now they're going to probably pull out the stop for some of these things, and I can't wait. I mean, it's a better love letter than Operation Raccoon City, because again, it wasn't a terrible game. It's just the
Yeah.
fuck, you know. It was, let's drop a bunch of military shooter dudes in Raccoon City during the outbreak. Yeah, it's fun to gun down hordes of zombies with heavy machine guns, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but this isn't Resident Evil, you know.
Oh, are we now
But yeah,
on to Call of Duty?
no, I was just kind of just.
Like, here's the thing. A game mechanic that people never really suspect me of actually liking is standing your ground against a horde, fighting a horde in like a red zone, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I hate that kind of thing, especially if it's in Warframe, by the way. Like, good gods, I don't understand survival missions where people do that. Like, give
Just
yourself
bunch up in
2
one place.
minutes and you're not going to be able to kill these guys in one shot like you're doing 10 minutes ago. Just don't do that. You gotta stay mobile. Anyway, I do really, really like horde standoffs, things like that.
All right,
But
just go right into the. It's like fuck it, let's go into Call of Duty then.
yeah, I don't like Call of Duty, but I like watching my brother play the zombie mode. I'm iffy on it. I really am.
All right. Let me clear the air real quick with everyone here, just so we're all like on the same page tonight. I do not like Call of Duty. I like the idea. I like the mechanic of a war story told through the eyes of a soldier. That's not a big issue to me. The thing is that I hate the games. I hate how they dramatize everything and make everything look, oh, you know, it's subliminal recruitment. That's the point. And they know it, so they start shoveling the funner game modes, which is like zombies and shit like that. Now, I need to clear the air here, and I know I'm probably going to get a load of hate from the zombies community because, oh God, don't ever criticize what they like. And that is, I think the Call of Duty zombie story, and I mean the classic one, is terrible. It is just a confusing pile of mess that is a story, and I'm not saying this is like someone who doesn't understand it. No, it's just when you sit down and you really analyze the ever-loving fuck out of the Call of Duty zombie story, you realize it's just a fried curl ball of cheesy nonsense. And the only reason why people like it is because there are people online who analyze the fuck out of this and analyze every little quote unquote clue or detail the from the maps and shit like that, you know? Like they go in and start analyzing everything, and they think there's some hidden meaning. Is this poster here, or why is this here? You know, they go crazy about it. And yet the more you look at it, the more you realize, like, you do know that probably doesn't mean anything, or you're probably making this sound, you know, better in your head than it really is. And that's the problem. These zombie stories are only made great because people have to go out there and create their own mental story about it and try to make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then people like Jason Blundell and by that I mean Jason Blundell is the guy behind the zombies game mode, or is one of the writers behind it. I am not throwing shit at the guy. Let's be clear about that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm merely saying that Jason Blundell basically will sit there, watch these YouTube videos, listen to these theories, and then pick the ones he likes the most and then make it look like, yes, excuse me. Yes, this was my great plan from the get-go, and you guys figured it, He basically is waiting there for people to come up with a more interesting idea and then cherry picking that all. A perfect point of this is the zombie stories from, I believe it's Black Ops 1, I think. Yeah. I'm sorry. I know it's like, and that was more to me for a second, just trying to figure it out. But no, basically, Black Ops 1's story ended, or the zombie mode just basically ended, right out the gate, and people had questions, people had theories, and yet, rather than addressing these questions and theories in the moment with the next story or the next map, they waited literal years for the excitement and the hype about it before deciding to do anything with it. And again, this is after people have already come up with theories that they could cherry pick and retroactively go back and change it, or change the story to make it look like that was the whole plan, from the get-go. And that's the thing. If you really scrutinize the ever-loving fuck out of this and really pay attention, you'll notice that most of these things are just, people hyping it up to the point where it's like you can't. It's more impressive in your head than what it will really be. Which leads me into why one of the big issues I have with the current storyline, and that is, the classic zombies, right? You know the characters, or you've seen them.
Mm.
The crazy German Nazi, the drunk Russian, yada yada yada.
The drunk Russian, I remember definitely. He was my brother's favorite.
Exactly. Well, this is the thing. They're all people like them, but they like them because of the stupid shit they say. And the original story, the classic story, never gave them anything serious. And you were doing these crazy, impossible things, following Easter eggs and things like that. And the only thing, what I think they added these Easter egg story like steps and everything to the games, I think they only added it because it would give them an excuse to do something stupid and insane and experimental without suffering any negative repercussions other than people saying it wasn't that great. It's a gameplay safety net, and one they will take advantage of, specifically to create something new for the sake of creating something new, which leads into, and then when the story of the classic zombies ends, or ended in such a bad note, they try to create new groups, the transit team, as people call them, aka the other survivors you get to play as in the next iteration. Nobody liked it. Nobody liked the story. Nobody liked what was happening because no one was interested in this new group. People wanted the classic characters. People wanted to hear the stupid ramblings.
Yeah.
And it became so bad that I'm pretty sure they knew it would start affecting the sales of the actual Call, because it would just wind up being like everything else in Call of Duties. Nobody would be interested in playing the cookie cutter thing. So they decide to reboot the story, but then they started making it needlessly complicated at that point, in an attempt to retroactively continue and also reboot the zombies classic storyline. They created the most insane and incredibly difficult story to analyze and understand. And I mean this as in you have to go out of your way, go online and look up information that is so cryptic. It's like you're insane. It's like you have that conspiracy, what you call it, the conspiracy board in your room with all the red
Yeah.
strings.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how insane this new story arcs became, to the point where even I had to sit there and my only thought was, um, I'm just sitting there and my only thought is, okay, we need to stop.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't interesting or good. This is just we're throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. A perfect
I
example
think
of this is, go ahead.
I stopped caring for Call of Duty right when it started, really. But like I stopped caring about like the zombie mode after my brother got rid of his 360, so he wasn't playing the zombie mode anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But when I popped back in just to see what was going on, it was when that when like I was watching Vanoss and all that play zombies mode in that weird arcade world where it's all aliens and shit.
Yeah, Modern Warfare.
That one. I was so confused. I didn't understand what the heck was going on, why they were in an arcade. I also saw like a tiny clip from the Yogscast where they're on Hawaii, where there's like volcanic activity. I didn't understand what was going on. Like 1 minute you guys are in like you're in Russia or Germany fighting hellhounds and all that crap, trying to power a generator. The next, you are playing skee ball, like
Okay,
with
I'll
80s
explain
music
that.
playing in the background.
Hold on. I'll explain that. So basically, this leads into what I was going to mention. Because the guys behind Call of Duty want to make new zombie things to keep people interested, it led into what I call the generation of let's copy zombies, the classic zombies, but let's change everything and have it make no sense. That arcade slash Hawaii thing you're talking about is part of the Infinite Warfare zombies, and the story is as follows. I'm going to sum this up in like a few sentences. A group of teenagers goes to a cinema, which is owned by some crazy eccentric nutter who basically traps people in terrible movies he's created so he can trap their souls, so he can sacrifice them to the devil to honor some crazy contract. And so these four kids get sucked into his terrible, cheesy, bad 80s movies he's made. These include Zombies in Spaceland, uh, Rave in Redwood, Hong Kong Kung Fu, something crazy like that. An attack of the radioactive thing.
What the fuck?
Exactly. And nobody was excited about this because it was just the same thing. Go to movie, fight zombies, find MacGuffin, get out. Go to movie, find MacGuffin, fight zombies, get out. That's what it was on repeat. Hell, nobody even liked the story because it just ended with basically, oh, all this time you've been actually trapped within a piece of soul bubble gum. That's in. It's just, yeah. The Sasquatch what LT was Raven the Redwoods.
Hmm.
It basically, the twist ending of it all was basically you're trapped inside a soul machine. The planet Earth is basically inside a soul machine inside another movie theater, implying that this kind of shit happens everywhere. It's terrible. Nobody liked it. Nobody was interested about it. Everyone just kind of abandoned it,
Yeah.
like right out the get-go. The only notable thing about those maps was the fact that they got famous Hollywood celebrities and old actors to become playable characters. Raven the Redwoods actually had Kevin Smith in it.
I don't know who that is.
Kevin Smith is he's the fat guy in the jersey. Silent Bob from Clerks.
I've never seen that.
Basically, he's a famous movie maker who has made terrible movies, but he's a pretty good guy, you know. He's the the best way to describe him is a little fat guy, very cuddly, very friendly. He's a good guy, is what I want to say. Yeah. They got him. They got David Hasselhoff to be in.
I remember David Hasselhoff. I remember that part.
Yeah. They got him in the Spaceland map for some reason. I heard they wanted to get Bruce Campbell for one of them, but he said no. Which I was like, okay.
Good idea there.
It's like I've had enough of this bullshit. I'm gonna do my terrible Netflix series that's gonna get canceled after season 3.
Yeah.
And that weird vampire lady who used to host that spooky midnight show.
Elvira?
Yeah, they got her to be in the Attack of the Radioactive Thing.
Oh, god damn. Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel sorry for her then. I think the only entertaining thing about the Call of Duty thing, and this goes back to like Vanos and Friends, is when they start to try and find the little secrets in it.
Yeah, the Easter eggs.
I want to know like what thought process goes through the developers' heads, or goes through like the players' heads to do this specific thing to cause this to happen. Like, how long did it take them to figure that out? Okay, so to put that into perspective, the latest Zombies maps that came out, 5 and Blood of the Dead, came out about a few weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. And it's you know how usually when a new game comes out, within about 24 hours or so, the ending cutscene and spoilers are already out? Yeah. It took them 4 weeks or so just to do all that. Nobody knew what the hell to do, and the entire community has to pull together to figure this kind of shit out. Mm-hmm. It can take months. Literal months. The only time I ever watch a Call of Duty thing is when it's Vanos and Friends looking for fucking Easter eggs. Venice. like the one where they're like the animated one where it looks like they're playing D&D, but it's like they have to kill a mutant gummy worm. I like that one a lot. I don't even remember which episode it was that they were doing that, but I loved it. Poor Nogla, he just went absolutely. No, there's no pizza. He's got a fucking bat. No. My favorite bit is like, you're like a child. You're like a dad with a child that has Wait a minute. I can actually make this a whole lot better because I'm watching the video in the background, but it's muted. Oh no.
Yes, you said you hated gummy.
Tricycle.
Okay, so Louis is gonna actually train.
I'm gonna be honest. Nogla has the most colorful language out there when it comes to this kind of shit. Oh God. On a tricycle. While someone's pushing.
As soon as the
so what I want to get a point here is that going back to what I'm calling the zombies curse is that.
Wait.
Oh God! Oh my God! This has been explained so many times to you. You're like a dad.
I'm scared to know what she's doing now.
Mobility in his legs on a tricycle.
It's like last time she was like this. She put a jack-o'-lantern on my horn.
No, I was playing that video we were talking about, and it got to the part where he starts screaming.
You're like a dad with a kid on a tricycle with no fucking mobility on his legs.
Someone's pushing. Okay, yeah, that Just gonna flat out say this in case that really, really annoying Starger son of a bitch does something to this stream again. We don't own anything that we show or listen to on this stream. We always give credit. That came from Vanos. That was an animated film. Go away.
It's like fuck off.
Yeah,
Shoot.
please.
Anyway, so going back, so what I'm calling is Zombies Curse. Every time any Call of Duty game, really?
Smooth.
It's like, once again, the lawyer telling me to shut the fuck up. But no, but basically, whenever a Call of Duty game comes out and attempts to remake the game mode, yes, there is, LT. Someone is out there trying to destroy us,
like,
for some reason.
One of our streams went up, and it was claimed for copyright. Like, sorry, 2 streams went up. It was claimed for copyright for a song that wasn't even in the show. And I found the song. I listened to it. They're copyright claiming a song that I made. It's the intro. It's really weird. But, like, I believe it's actually YouTube itself that's fucking us in the ass about that one. Because it listens to the videos. It doesn't watch. It listens. Which is why, like, whenever we go on, like, this huge tangent about, like, sucking people's dicks, I have to apologize to YouTube. Because it listens to what we're saying.
Yeah. For some reason, it's going after us.
Yeah, but with the Castle Crashers thing, I streamed this a long time ago. We need to get back into playing that, by the way.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, we were like halfway done with the game.
Give or take, yeah. With the Castle Crashers one, a game's OST, unless they actually have a copyrighted song like from Van Halen or some shit, a game's OST is not copyrighted if you are playing the game itself.
Yes. Because at that point it counts as transformative work.
Yeah. And the thing is, we're not making any money when we stream these at all.
We're
and even in the future, we're not making money from any of this.
Yeah. Unless there's an LLC I'm not aware of, in which case, the fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, the Castle Crashers one is being fixed by the person that made the OST, so that's good.
And thank you, whoever made the OST. We appreciate it.
I know I have his name somewhere, but let's focus on the show for right now, because we just suddenly went on a complete left turn.
Yes. But anyway. So the Call of Duty Zombies Curse is anytime a new Call of Duty attempts to remake or create something new involving zombies or any kind of zombie-esque fighting style, it's just panned and it just sucks. The story sucks, the gameplay sucks, just nobody wants to deal with it. Extinction, Exo Zombies, the arcade zombie movie one we just talked about and mocked for God only knows how long. That weird zombie mode for Call of Duty Black Ops 3, I think. Just in general, anytime these game modes come out and and even World War II Zombies, no one likes it because the stories are just not what people expect. Again, and this is the failure of the classic Zombies game mode.
Mm-hmm.
It is so hyped by its fans and people expect so much from it that it causes it to be this untouchable gemstone. And there's no way they can stop, making or producing this game. And to put this into perspective, the Call of Duty classic story for Shut up. uh, the classic zombie story had an end. Revelations was the ending. It even says the end. There's no to be continued or question mark at the end of it. No, it was very clear that Treyarch and everyone behind the zombie stories, the classic one, wanted to end it there. They had no intention of continuing the story. It was basically, we're done. This story that's been in like what, 10 years, 10 years in the creation or something like that, or in the making. Yeah, we're done. We're finished. No more. That was the plan. But then you had people who just couldn't take the end for the end. People who have built entire YouTube channels around Call of Duty Zombies content couldn't take the end for the end, which eventually led into everyone and their mother believing that basically the classic zombie story, ever since Mob of the Dead came out, it introduced the concept of cycles. In basically, the characters don't know they're in a cycle where the map starts, and every time they do something, they die, they fail, and it resets back to zero, with them having no memory of what happened and doomed to repeat the cycle. The only way the cycle was broken is if someone realizes, hey, we've done this already, and then they change what happens in the cycle, and then they break the cycle. An example of this would be in Mob of the Dead, the 4 playable characters kill one of the characters, thus restarting the cycle, because they've done this 100 times. The only way they break that cycle is if the one character kills the other 3. And then it ends with the word, the cycle is broken. And it's because of Blood of the Dead and introducing this concept of a cycle and crap of that nature that they have basically doomed the classic zombie story to now have to conform and bend to the concept of the cycle. Basically, everyone and their mother would have accepted the Call of Duty classic zombie story ending, the big end at the end of Revelations, as just that, the end. There would be nothing more, and they could be happy about it because people couldn't let it go, and they couldn't let a story come to its end, its natural end, an ending that has been building up for, again, several years. People started coming up with these crazy, retarded theories, dumb ideas of, oh, no, there's a cycle. There's another one that we're a part of, and we have no idea what's happening, and blah, 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 blah. You know, that kind of shit. You know, people who just chomp at the bit for, you know, how would I put this? It's like how pissed off I am with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And being in such a denial about this movie coming out that I ignore it from canon and refuse to acknowledge it. And then the creators acknowledge my refusal and go out of their way to create something new just so that way people like me are happy. And that's what happened. Now, thanks to this mindset and thanks to Treyarch realizing we can't abandon our moneymaker and, you know, the fans could likely turn on us, let's instead jump in, release Blood of the Dead, the latest one, and then basically placate people and just say, yeah, you know what? You're right. There is a cycle going on, and we have to break it because this guy who we thought was good is actually evil. We're going to bring back all the 1.0 characters, even though we've spent 4 to 5 maps basically killing them for the 1.0s, and Nikolai's going to be the big protagonist, and just, again, this game is killed by its own community. Any interesting or creative story is strangled by its own community. Crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of this stranglehold, this mentality of cycles and, oh, we have to analyze every microscopic thing and we have to be detectives, that leads other game modes. Again, pointing to the Call of Duty World War II zombies as an example. Yeah, exactly, LT. The fans have pretty much turned on them. That's basically what it is. Well, not turned as in like a very, like I refuse to buy your product until you do this. Not that kind of. But basically, it's their own rabid nature that has caused this to become stale. That's what I mean to say.
Yeah.
And it's this mindset, this hyper analyze everything that has led other game modes or other zombie-esque stories to fail. Another example is the World War II zombies, in which that game mode, like you know about the World War II one, right? Or you've seen it or heard of it somewhere?
Seen no, not really.
Basically,
I
this
like
one is
whenever a Call of Duty thing comes up, I don't even see that it's there. I don't acknowledge it.
I say, well, basically, World War II zombies was less mystical and more like, okay, the Nazis basically begin to just put people back together, and they use technology to revive the undead to fight for them. That was the basic principle. But again, because people couldn't leave the mysticism angle alone, they started to people on YouTube began to create insane theories. And basically, at the end of the first map, there was a sword, or the hilt of a sword, that was generating power, which they used to basically jumpstart the undead. And it was basically being hinted at heavily that it was just that. It was just basically, it was science, like electricity throughout a suit bringing people back to life. That was what people
Whoa! You're
assumed.
cutting out a whole bunch.
How?
So
Like
we're only
now?
hearing bits and pieces.
I don't know why that's doing that.
Well, you're sounding okay now. Keep talking.
I don't know why it's doing that. I never do. But that's what I'm saying. Basically, the community began, YouTubers who specialize in this kind of thing, all that shit, began to throw their 2 cents and their classic zombie theory crafting, and then they began to point and say, look, there's mysticism, and no, there's some sort of undead, and there's a great evil society, and just all this shit. What would have been a more creative and interesting new take on a zombie-esque story devolved and mutated into a bastardized version of classic zombies, leading to just a subpar concept. Like the basic idea of World War II zombies moving forward was basically the zombies are out of control. They've turned on the Nazis and they're just killing everyone. The war has now taken a turn to the worst, where it's now the living fighting against zombies. But it's a losing war, basically. Every time you kill one of them, your friends die. Your forces dwindle, but theirs just keeps growing and growing, and growing. And that's that's interesting, isn't it? That sounds like a better concept than mystical others commanding the undead from an unknown shadow realm. Excuse me 1 quick second. I need to take care of something real quick. Hold on.
Call of Duty. Woohoo! Yeah. Hi. Fuck my life. Like I do like the survive against a horde thing. Left 4 Dead 2 was one of my favorites, so.
And we're back. And I'm back.
Hey.
Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying. What would have been an interesting sort of story just wound up becoming a repeat in a very poor man's version of the classic zombies mode, the classic zombie mode story that basically they canceled it, or basically after it came to an end, it just kind of like, okay, we're not going to keep doing this. And you see why I play games like exactly, LC, because at least it fucking makes sense.
Yeah, there is a story that actually has structure to it.
Exactly. Instead of go over here, grab the flaming plunger to kill the armored zombie, so he drops a random nugget of metal, which you will then power with an electrical lightning bolt that strikes at exactly 12.
Or, like the actual animation, shoot the gummy worm.
Exactly. With lightning for some reason. That's the. This is what irks me. Every time they try to do something new with zombies, it just fails. Because it's either retreading old territory, the concept is just not sound enough to carry its weight, and it's just doomed to failure. And the classic zombies are no exception. And it sucks. It really does. And I know this topic was called Why Classic Zombie Stories Do So Well and Other Ones Fail So Badly. Well, I basically just covered it. It's its own fan base and hype that make the classic ones good. At least in quotes. All right. Yeah, just a lot of piss and vinegar right now. Anything you want to say on this?
I don't care for Call of Duty at all. This is why I prefer something as weird as Left 4 Dead 2.
Or Dead Rising.
No, I don't care for Dead Rising.
Really?
Well, I like the games, but I'm not going to play it.
Yeah, I find Dead Rising interesting. Isn't just from the retarded angle. I mean,
It's like they can get away with being stupid because they're taking like a logical take to it. You're a person in a mall. You need to use what you have to fight these zombies. It might look really stupid, like a giant Lego head, but that's what you're going to do. You're going to be using a giant Lego head to fight. While with Call of Duty, you can't do that because it's gritty, it's dark, it's military. You can't goof off.
yeah. Actually, even the Dead Rising live action movie got the weapon customization angle right.
Yeah.
Yes, that they actually did make it. It sucks, unfortunately. But at least they get the weapon customization part right. Fuck off. It's like, but they did that. No, fuck you.
Rubber ducky boxing gloves, at least. Sure. I love the boxing gloves with the rubber duckies attached to them, just for the noise.
And not the giant rubber ducky army you can build.
Wait, what?
The guy who got a whole shit ton of rubber duckies in his bathroom and just started
Yes, I am so close to actually being like that. I have 45 duckies now.
Oh, good.
In my room alone.
Are you going to start like having them do Shakespeare in the Park or something?
No.
I'm sorry, that was still funny. I slowly gave them a culture, things like cinema. But no. Yeah. All right. I suppose we've covered everything there. Now let's get into.
Just go.
All right, and now we get into the sucky part of the evening, which I think we might as well start making it a thing of what bullshit did EA pull this time?
EA disease. That's what I've called it. That's what I tag it as.
Yeah. So, for everyone who doesn't know, as of recently, FIFA 19 recently banned one of their pro players and censors the guy completely after he criticized FIFA 19. EA basically turned around and cut the guy's strings off, which basically puts out a very, it's basically something everyone should take into account. EA doesn't give a shit about its pros. The second you start criticizing their shit, they see you just like they see all the other players. You can be replaced the second they need it.
Yep. EA Bullshittery episode 638. Yeah.
If only we could create an entire show where we just did nothing but bash EA. We'd be swimming in money. Now, once again, this information has been, what's the word? This information comes once again from our source.
Try that again. Comes from our source who?
Like always. And
Rev, you're cutting out again.
Sorry. I was just loading the thing so I could send it. Not send it, but for you to, post the source and the thing.
Yeah.
The thing.
Retry on the source.
Right. So as we all know, this once again comes from our unofficial source, Young Yeah. Again, unfortunately, we are not partnered with the guy, even though I would love nothing more than to be partnered.
Yeah.
So the guy's name is Kurt, Qurt. And this happened 6 days ago, roughly. So we're about a week late, more or less. And they basically let the guy go. Again, for him covering the problems with FIFA 19. He basically says what we're all thinking at this point, and that is these games aren't games. They're just updated and slightly shittier versions of the same game we've been playing since 2008, or even before that.
Yeah.
And of course, he basically said this. He basically started attacking, well, not attacking, but just criticizing EA, telling them, hey, maybe it's time to start improving the games you make and, making them better. And EA just basically cut the guy's strings. Now, I'm not going to soapbox for this guy. I'm not going to say, nothing about him. I'm not going to say he was great or anything, because apparently, according to the FIFA Pro Circuit, the circuit I have no idea what's going on and don't care to know, Kurt is a bit of an asshole. Like Punch a Child kind of asshole, I think.
Oh, that guy, yeah.
At least from what people say. I don't know if he actually does punch children. I doubt it. That I'm aware of.
But the second that happens, we all know who to look to.
Exactly. It's like, what we don't see is that he has an entire room dedicated to punching children.
We're not being serious.
No, we're not. But like I said, the guy gets, the guy gets completely shit-canned by EA. EA has no sympathy for him. And of course, if he's an asshole that people don't enjoy, it kind of makes sense for him not to be missed. They can afford to cut the guy loose, is what I'm implying. However, that said, it should go without saying that EA, they're digging their own graves at this point. And with the route of censorships they've been doing with their games, the latest Battlefield one, aka Battlefield, aka fictional World War II, they've been just censoring bullshit words. For example, And this is weird. Like, this is completely weird. They censor the word Nazi in the chat,
Well,
even though this is a World War II game and you're fighting Nazis.
yeah.
What? You know, it's like,
they make somewhat sense, but at the same time,
Then they start censoring other things like Titanfall. You can't say Titanfall in the group chat for some reason. I wonder why. Is it because that's the one game people actually want to play more of and not this bullshit?
Because it's an
EA?
actually good game.
Mm-hmm. They even censored DLC unless prefaced by the word free.
Wow.
I'm not joking. If it's free DLC together as in one word, it goes through. If it's just DLC with no free, it gets censored right off the bat.
Wow.
And again, this is EA trying to control the narrative of saying, "Oh no, we're good, we're better. You see, we're gonna give you free DLC." In fact, everyone's talking about the free DLC we're gonna be offering because you can't let us say regular shut up. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, but we all know they're lying. There is no such thing as free DLC when it comes to EA.
No, again, everyone keeps saying it's like, oh, the prices of games haven't gone up. It's like, no, it has. It's bullshit to say it hasn't. And by that I mean $60 is now the shell price of a game. What you pay on top of it with DLC and season passes, that's the full price.
Mm-hmm.
Is it any wonder why free-to-play games are getting more popular as of late?
Gosh, what was that game? There was this game that came out recently that I was super excited to play it. I've been waiting to play it for so long. I go to the Steam store page once it's out. It's almost $100.
What is it?
I don't remember. It was just a game I really wanted to play, and then it was $100.
What do you do in the game?
I really don't remember.
Jesus.
It's as soon as I realized it was $100, I just stopped caring. When it comes to me, if it breaks my heart, if it pisses me off, it stops existing in my brain. Just completely stops existing. Which is why you remember old friends of ours that we haven't talked to in so long.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I don't talk to them anymore is because they have done something to piss me off or hurt my feelings. They don't exist. They never existed.
Someone's home and someone's losing his mind. Oh, let me open the door and let him out. I'll be right back.
Yeah, just remember to mute yourself. Or deafen. Fuck. And there he goes. Okay. I think I just chalk that up to the fact that my brain doesn't work the same way as other people's at all. It's even in the rules in my group Discord. If you oh, never mind.
I'm back.
Hello.
All right then. It's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, EA knows it's fucking in trouble with everyone. It knows it, and they want nothing.
You really need to just turn your phone to vibrate.
I do. You want to know something? You want to know something funny? I did put it on vibrate. Be right back.
I pop in and suddenly ear torture.
We're talking about EA disease again.
Oh, who's got it?
So, I'm gonna read off the topic so you'll understand this. EA censors and bans former pro player for their FIFA game after he criticizes the game. They claim that it violated their terms and conditions in an attempt to save face. This company is in panic.
Oh,
and and then yeah, hi Rev. I don't know where it suddenly turned to a World War II game. I lost track there. But like the World War II game banned things in chat that are actually a part of the game. Like,
Oh yeah, I know about it. I know about all that crap.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's
I know
just
about all that, so.
yeah, it's just again, like I was saying, EA knows it's in trouble with the world. People aren't interested in the crap they're shoveling, and now they're taking the biggest backpedal they can in an attempt to save themselves. And again, I have checked; the lawsuit is still underway. Nothing's changed. There's no EA's backing out of the deal or they're changing their ways. No, it is still happening, and they're still going to lose money.
yeah.
Yes.
Best doggo is best doggo.
Warble.
Yes.
Pupper.
Yes, they are still under fire from overseas, Elton.
What's it? Where did I go?
Everybody's got
And
dogs except for me. I got a cat. Because the dog has
pet it,
left for the weekend.
Oh.
Like, he belongs to the house guest. Brutal honesty, that dog is the only reason why I tolerate the house guest, because he's adorable and he's an angel. Her, I do not give a shit about. I don't like her.
And I don't blame you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. So, yeah. Needless to say, EA is still... Well, they're still EA, and the moment they stop existing, we are going to celebrate and just dance on that.
It is quite literally going to be like the ending of the Star Wars. Like, where everybody's like shooting fireworks, you got creepy Ewoks drumming on people's heads. It's a galactic party by then.
It's a party on galactic scales.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, wait, what I'm about to send you is basically EA in a nutshell. Or what they do in just generally in a nutshell.
Get your butt. What you gonna do, dog? I got your butt. I got your butt.
Unfortunately, put this on screen because technically that isn't the image of an actual football player, so we can't do that unless we want to pay the guy royalties.
Nope.
I gotta see this though. So
I'll send it to Liam.
Yes. It reminds me of something someone said when they were reviewing Metal Gear Solid 5, and the exact words were, "She is a few moments away from having hold the camera sex on screen," but in this case, it's just he is full up in there.
It's like whenever like Super Smash Bros. Comes out. Everybody's main focus is who still has their perfectly round ass and who has a slate. And then everybody immediately goes to like Solid Snake or Captain Falcon.
Of course.
Or Bayonetta.
And you know for a fact that once Ultimate comes out, people are going to be doing that in full.
Well, Bayonetta is just fan service, pure and simple.
But here's the thing: she's fan service that makes it work.
Yeah, I'm about to say, yeah, she's fan service, but for her, it makes sense. She's
again. I would like to point out to everyone that this is meant to be a kids show.
No, it's not.
I mean, a kids game, not the show. It's a kids game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Got your butt. What you gonna do? I got your tail.
How do we invite him? Anyway.
He invites himself, but at least he brings more conversations for things that I don't care for. Because as soon as we start talking about Call of Duties, I stop talking.
It's like, as soon as this happens, Rev just runs his mouth. Yeah, true. Anyway, well, I think we've covered everything on the EA's front. Do you want to say anything else other than screw you?
Screw you,
no?
Chug a bag of dicks, the usual shit. Although, I will say, part of me hopes part of me is pissed off at the whole thing with Anthem, but part of me also hopes Anthem actually does well.
Wait, what's this Anthem? What?
Game that's coming out by BioWare. Anthem.
No, I know that. I mean, what's going on with it?
No, I'm just saying, like, part of me wants the game to actually do well.
Oh, I see. I thought for a second it's like there was something that happened in the back. I was like, what is this?
Nah, I don't. I mean, yes, I forum troll, or troll. I think the proper term is not I forum troll. I forum troll and I dig through news sites and all kinds of shit more than I probably should. But I ain't seen nothing new yet.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm in agreement with everyone. I am with you on this. I do wish Anthem, would succeed, but I have to come to this simple fact. The BioWare of old is dead. They've been dead for a while. And all that's left is just the studios, not the people, not the creators. It's just a name.
Oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption. I just remembered Red Dead Redemption came out
yesterday, or not yesterday, tomorrow technically.
Well, I'm already seeing videos from players.
That's a lot of people getting, I wouldn't say early access, but
yeah,
that kind of stuff. The Let's Play people. That
I know Bill is gonna just raise hell. He loves those games.
Mm-hmm.
Give me my space.
Well, I'm gonna say. Well, I will say this then. Once it comes out, we'll probably cover it on the show as well. Okay, what the? I'm sorry. I don't want to derail this any further because we do need to move on. But I found this like when everyone was talking about Smash Bros. And unfortunately, I can't believe this is a thing. Why is this a thing?
Send it to me, Rav.
Oh, yeah. That.
Yeah, it's like, why is this a thing?
I still can't open links properly. I'll send it to him.
It can't be that bad.
It's not bad. It's just what?
What are you smoking?
Oh.
It's like something out of like. Yeah, it's like okay. Why is this a thing? It's just
old as fuck Nintendo games.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and it's like I'm looking at this now, and my own thought is, why? Who made this?
That's just ancient, old school Nintendo. That's nothing new, really.
Wait, I say this, and then I have to remember, yeah, this is from the same company that's been re-releasing the same Fat Italian Plumber for, 20 years now?
Longer than that. Much longer than that.
Shit done, though.
Mm-hmm.
He may be fat, he may have only one career, but goddamn does he do work.
And as far as I know, there's only one game where he actually ever did the plumbing, and that is it.
That's a euphemism for something if I've ever heard it.
I'll explain later. Anyway. I will explain this euphemism and the sex pose later.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, yes. That is the best co-optional podcast animated, HH. That is the best one ever.
Yes.
You have to share this one around.
Oh, my God.
And God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this out of the entire thing and just leave it there. I am Lord Admiral Ravensburg.
This is a dauntless light cruiser.
Dauntless.
This is your other dauntless light cruiser.
I really, really like sending this video to Chief because he likes to talk about Warhammer so much, and I find it absolutely hilarious.
Oh, God. You know, the best part is it was actually a really good game. It had its balance issues. I admit it. I played the Tau. I love the Tau. Fuck you, everyone else, especially you, Chaos, you kiting motherfucker. I'm gonna railgun you a new asshole. But
so that happened.
Was a good game. It was a good game, and the second one looks like it's gonna be even better.
Yeah. Anyway,
let's move on. Should we do the overview first, or should we go
straight to the cryptic Fortuna sandwich?
Oh,
the cryptic Fortuna what?
Fortuna sandwich. It's because OmniVoice made a tuna sandwich joke in a stream
I know,
4 tunas.
Fortuna! Oh god. You're doing this all for a tuna sandwich.
Yum.
Funnily enough, whenever I talk to Obed, right, and I mentioned Warframe, I mentioned Fortuna, he and I know what that means. We know what the word means. So when he's like, what is there to be fortunate about? I'm like, no, the place. Not the word, the place. Anyway.
No, there's fortune to be had because we're stepping in to kick Nathaniel's ass.
Anyway.
Which one do you want to start with then?
Actual assassination is going
I think we should just jump into the business, what he's been sending.
Mm-hmm. Ned. Okay. No, you don't need to correct yourself with Ned Anyo. You got it right there. He's a piece of shit. Don't ever get his name correct.
Ned Anyo. Yes, this is now his name.
Yesterday's sortie was against Vahek.
Sadly. Okay.
With fog.
Did not need that mental image that just went through my head.
I'm sorry. That was a little funny. We had to fight him in fog. Man, it's just a very light fog. It's like, really? But anyway.
Yes, my controller.
As we all know right now, the Biz has recently sent us several cries for help in encrypted messages.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as I recall, what the Biz sent was information regarding the situation on Fortuna and what's happening to the people.
He has also debt collectors.
Exactly, or yes, what they call the corpus, the taxman.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is that he finally reveals some rather interesting information in regards to what.
That's my ear dog.
What's the word? He has given us information in regards to what the corpus are doing to the people. As it turns out, not only are they indebted to the corpus, we now know why they're indebted. It's their cybernetics. They own the rights to them, which means at any moment they can remove, call back those parts and kill them.
Well, it's less call back the parts and kill them. It's more repossess them and brain shelf them.
Exactly.
Go
on.
Which has its own litany of problems.
Exactly. And again, this has been what I was worried about, what I was scared about for a while now. These people need our help more so than any other faction so far.
Especially considering... go ahead.
I was about to say, we have to help this colony before anything else.
Especially considering those cybernetics are the only thing that's keeping them alive on that goddamn planet.
Exactly.
Keeping them alive in the Valis. Because something tells me that particular area of Venus is not the kindest.
Nope.
No, based on the geology and the creatures we've seen, I suspect those temperatures can go below 0 at any given moment.
Go a hell of a lot farther than below 0.
Mm-hmm.
No, yes, I know. I'm just putting that as the benchmark. This is at minimum. It can go further than the minimum. That's what I meant. Anyway, what else is concerning as well as that I've spoken at length with a few people. I've even spoken with Call and a few others. Yes. Well, it's horrifying. LT does bring, quoting the characters in the new relay, the whole, what's it like to be brain shelled, dark. Yeah, again, your eyes and everything are probably removed when your brain is taken out. It's nothing but darkness.
You're just sitting there thinking in your own head.
Exactly. No sensory output. It's like living in a sensory deprivation chamber all the time.
Essentially. Although the really bad part is the fact that with some of the messages that you get is just he's saying it's like, yeah, we fought them all the damn time, but now something's broken them. Something's making it so people won't fight.
Exactly. And this has led many people to believe that there could be some sort of, maybe someone out there has hacked into their minds and is giving them some sort of, hey, how about we don't, kind of signal.
I think it's a little bit deeper than that. It's because it's less, because to me it sounds like it's less the mind hack stuff. It sounds more like it's the something's downright scaring them into not fighting.
Exactly. And based on the
something with these people,
we've heard some of the inhabitants in the relays talking. We've heard them saying, how depressed they sound. And it's clear to me the will to fight is there, but they can't. Something or someone has broken that will. It's not gone, it's just broken. Hence why they're calling for help.
And let's face it, the factions are all the syndicates are all relatively too small, or it'd be too noticeable if the ones that normally would interfere, because let's face it, if Crescentall and the Steel Meridian rolled up, it'd be open war with the Corpus, and that would end pretty short.
It wouldn't just lead to it ending quickly, as you mentioned. It would also lead into more protracted conflicts. Again, the last Grenier Corpus civil war that occurred, and again, I use the term extremely loosely, happened and ended just as quickly as it occurred. Again, that was thanks to our... Yes, but again, that was thanks to our own intervention, but the point still stands.
Yeah, of all the things we need, or rather don't need, is the goddamn syndicates getting involved, because let's be real here. Steel Meridian, they're willing to do it. They'd most likely be willing to go in there head first, guns blazing, but they don't have the backing. And this is, let's be real here, this is Nathaniel's personal stronghold, for lack of better terms. This is his personal hell pit.
It's his backyard.
Essentially. So if anyone goes in there, barring us, because we can come and leave as we please, because stealth tech out the ass. But if anyone else goes in, they're staying in.
Exactly. And this has been a constant concern, especially for me and the others. Cole Draxon and I, we've spoken at length about why the people of Solaris are cybernetic. What might have caused it. And we, now with this new information, we suspect that, again, our first theory might be correct. This is all work-based related incidences. But clearly,
it is not work-related.
This is what I'm hinting at. It's not, these things that happened weren't accidents. Someone out there, I'm willing to bet in fact, no, I have a bill. No, I have a bill in credits. I am willing to bet every single credit off of that there is someone out there or a group of corpus out there that job is to purposely cause workplace-related accidents just to have more slave labor for colonies like this. I'm willing to put that money on the line. Sorry. But yeah, so again, with what is it? Fortuna coming out in, what is it, November, right? They mentioned
their Hope TM primed soon.
Yeah. But with this
November
information
1st.
Yeah, but with this information now, with the deadline set, again, they're putting us on the warpath here.
Oh, they did that when they released the fucking trailer. Let's be honest here. Well, part of it is they need those cybernetics because of the environment they're in.
Yep.
Yes.
But the only way they can get a hold of the cybernetics is through douchebag McGee. I'm not even going to give him his proper name. And his fuckwits.
Is through Ned.
It's through Ned, yes.
It's through Ned. But due to how harsh the conditions are, they have to change out parts more and more and more. and they're stacking up debt over and over and over. Hence why it's an actual debtor's colony. Is you go there to work, but because of your work, you have to build up debt to work to build up debt to build up work to build up debt.
It's a vicious cycle that doesn't seem to end as long as Nefanyo is in charge.
And no, not in charge as long as he's alive.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I don't even think that's the case. I think that this goes deeper than just, hey, here's Neff and he's responsible. No, this to me looks and sounds like this is a bigger issue than Neff. I think the only way for these people to get out of this debt is if the Corpus economy itself is reset to zero.
No, yeah, but there's problems with that, considering how many fingers and how many pies the Corpus are involved in. You don't have that much money and not have...
Ned Pancho will pay for his anarchy against these toasters.
Ned Pancho. Yes.
Pancho.
Ned Pancho.
Someone give him a poncho and make it a really stupid looking poncho.
Oh, then it has to be a poncho that a white person made.
Oh, that's perfect. Ned
it's true.
Pancho. Oh man, I love it. Ned Pancho. Anyway, I believe we've covered everything, at least in terms of this, right?
Give or take.
All
I'm
right,
still
then.
gonna shoot him in the dick.
All right, then. And no one's stopping you.
And I have the perfect new gun for it too.
Yeah, I've seen that thing. Yeah.
It doesn't matter if he's on the other side of the planet either.
He got the Zenith. He can shoot through walls and the Earth itself if he wants.
Infinite punch through.
I'm sorry, this.
I am way too giddy for that gun. Okay.
Sorry.
I'm the only one here with coffee right now.
I'm sorry. When he said it doesn't matter, that moment, my immediate thought was going back to The Rock for a second. It's like, it doesn't matter.
I don't know that reference, but okay.
I do.
It was a wrestling thing where he was getting up in another wrestler's grill asking him his name. The guy's about to say it, and he immediately shouts him down. It's like, it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
And it is now lived on in meme history.
Yep. Oh, hey, that's a corpse. Let's search the corpse.
Anyway, well, look, I suppose we can get into DevStream 108 then. Or 108. Yes, let's go back in the Wayback Machine and go all the way to the beginning of Warfare. No.
Let's go back in time.
What we do is go back, bam, insert that stupid music.
That is like the one gimmick in games and movies that I absolutely despise. It's the laziest piece of shit ever.
Time travel?
Yes.
Yeah,
time travel can lead to some fun shenanigans.
I don't like it. I don't like it as much as I hate Groundhog's Day.
Okay, that movie is just bad.
Focus.
So as everyone knows, DevStream 108 recently came out. 118 recently came out like what, a week ago, roughly?
Yeah,
almost?
a week ago.
Also, if you noticed how everyone looked kind of glazed over and one of them was having munchies, it coincides with certain things that happened in Canada recently.
So people, Quiet Shallow, and a lot of other people made the joke that recently marijuana/weed was legalized in Canada. And so they were very giddy, very happy, and then people began to just assume that the entire DevStream team had actually smoked nothing. Exactly, have been smoking crack and smoking weed the entire time. So not only do we have Hideo Kojima and his crack pool, we now have the DevStream and their Yes, now we have the DevStream and their weed room, which is nothing but an entire room full of weed that they jump into and just smoke the entire place.
Like I don't honestly, I didn't really get that vibe when I was rewatching the Death Stream because
I know it was just a joke. Everyone.
I know. It's like but I can understand like why they're all glossed over. It's because they're working really hard.
Oh yeah.
Like when
it's the same thing that happened with the Rockstar guys.
Yeah, like when I worked in a movie theater, I was worked to the bone every day. So by the time I got home, like my brother's like, first question is, who the hell gave you weed at work? Or who gave you booze or something like that?
Yeah, you can get that tired. Like, there have been days where I have been up to my fucking elbows in a drain, and by the time I get home, my roommate's like, dude, what happened to you?
For me, it was Finding Dory.
No need to explain that one. I know that story.
I'm never gonna watch that movie.
That's a shame because it's a good movie, actually.
I don't care. I never want to watch it.
Anyway, so as everyone knows, the dev stream released the new concept art for the new Atlas Deluxe skin.
Damn, that's a fun ass.
Which is once again created by the same guy who does Warframe porn.
Like I said, damn, that's a fun ass.
You're not going to hear me complain about it. However, go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah. And it actually does look like a very good deluxe skin, all things considered. Jokes aside.
Oh, there's the ass. Okay.
Yeah, there, right there.
Going to be a good one.
Upper right.
Yeah.
Also, the thing you sent me, by the way, HH, is amazing.
Breakfast Atlas.
Artery hardening and cholesterol rising.
I'm on the DeviantArt page, Rev. I can get it.
But yeah, all things considered, it actually does look like it is going to be a really good deluxe skin if they go through with that particular model, because it works for Atlas. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, even though it does, even though he looks a bit like the Earth version of Revenant, it still looks good.
It looks like Revenant just hit the gym for a bit.
Exactly.
Swole.
Swole ghost boy.
Swole ghost, but no.
What? That's not wrong.
I like. I'm gonna be honest. I like the geode vibe we're giving it.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
It's smart. It really is. So, does this make Atlas now a gem?
No.
All I want to do is see you turn into. We need a Warframe that can turn into a giant woman.
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, not a giant woman per se, but bonus points if it is a female Warframe. But we need a Warframe where its ult is they basically just boom. Like
that's actually something they haven't done yet. Make a Warframe that changes its size. Like, yeah, we have Titania, but like, I mean, a Warframe. Yeah, a Warframe whose abilities is based around changing its size and shape entirely.
Yeah.
Like its ultimate is to grow enormous.
No, that's a frame. You don't use the ult anywhere except for the planes. That way you can fight the Eidolon head on.
Yes. Head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Oof.
I'd be fine with that. You know what? Fuck it. Why not? We've all confirmed we have mass shift with the Warframe. Let's go.
You're cutting out.
Warframes in development. Yeah, you are. Speaking though of Warframes that they're doing or haven't done, I will say with Garuda, her 1 is okay. Her 2 looks messy as fuck. Her 3 looks painful. Her 4 is kind of eh.
I have to agree with Lycan about the fourth ability. Like, it is good. I just really wish they would stop doing spin to win abilities.
But Well, it's not so much that it's spin to win. It just feels kind of lazy with how the setup is, all things considered.
Yeah. Well, that's when they introduced the reworks, and after a while. Actually, I think what DE does is a smart move. Introduce a Warframe first, let people get used to it, and then once people don't like it enough or certain abilities just seem too stupid, they go in, they rework it, and they give us something new.
Essentially, what they do. You say that like a bad thing. Essentially, what they do is they tease the Warframe's abilities and they wait for feedback to see what needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, artists do that all the time.
Yeah,
Some games do that, not everything.
No, it's like that meme of, all right, you have it, then you push upgrade, it goes too far. It's like, no, fuck, go back. I said go back. Oh man, but to be honest, I found Garuda an interesting idea. I love the concept of she's a blood engine. That's literally what she is.
She's rewarded for managing her health and making things work.
Die.
Well, yeah, but
It's not dying. Go ahead.
I think she takes the place. You know how everybody praised Haro for the self-flagellation thing that he does?
Mm-hmm.
She's the only one that quite literally does that on purpose. Constantly.
Yes.
So she has outdone him.
But does she have a chastity belt, though?
Oh, God.
That's a joke.
I forgot about that.
Although, in all actuality, out of all the Warframes, she is the actual legitimate berserker out of them all. The lower her health goes, the more damage she can pump out.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that it's taken us this long to create a true berserker frame.
Well, see, the problem with that kind of setup is you have to, it's exactly as they said, is you have to balance the risk versus the reward. Because if the risk is too high, and the reward doesn't pay out enough, what's the point? Or there's too little risk while the reward is fucking massive. Like, I've seen games do that and screw it up in more than a few of them. D&D is actually one of them. On a roleplay perspective, the Barbarian class. HH knows this. We've seen Golka go full ham.
Yep.
And when a barbarian, depending on which path they take, it's either too much risk, in the case of the berserker, where they stack up exhaustion of all things whenever they go into their frenzy mode, or in the case of I wouldn't say the Blood Rager, because the Blood Rager does get ridiculous as they go on. That's more power creep.
Yes, to agree with AHA, she brings up an interesting idea where even though we have Garuda and even though we have this bestial blood frame, which again is a fine thing, no one's complaining, no one's angry about it, I do agree with her. We still need Furion to be a Warframe. And for those of you who don't know, Furion was I see it too.
Actually, here's a concept of Warframe I want to see. HH, look up the Bastion Warframe. Not like Bastion Warframe, like Overwatch Bastion, but no, look it up. It is a beautiful...
The Lancer.
Yes.
That's who he's referring to.
And show that on the goddamn stream, because that is a concept I want to see. Exactly as the tagline says, the unstoppable force becomes the immovable object.
What is it, HH?
I'm trying to find it. Nope, that's Grenier.
Here, I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, this?
Send me the link.
I am. Give me a goddamn moment, for fuck's sake.
No, actually, that's not it.
Oh my god, no, oh no, what did I just find? What did I find?
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when we have more than two people on.
I'm gonna send this to Rev. What did I That's
Oh, I know this artist. I know her. She does a bunch of very stupid, chibi Warframe comics that makes self-referential humor.
Here you go, HH. This one.
Anyway, to cover something else, the
Copy
dev stream.
link. Okay, don't ignore me.
All right, to mention something else, the dev stream recently revealed was also the new operator styles and suits they're intending to give us. Can either one of you look that up real quick, or
I've
go
looked
to
it up.
the?
It looks interesting.
Yeah, do you mind pulling some images of the new looks? I would do it myself, but for
I'm Skyriming.
reason, my computer hates it. Forums. It actually causes my computer to crash.
All right, give me a. Well, that's because the Warframe forums are utter cancer, because people are calling for everything to be nerfed.
You see, my computer understands that there is such a thing as too much cancer on the internet. And so, in order to protect itself from the utter
There he
cancer,
goes. I think I know what
Speaking
suit you're
of-
talking about, LT. Is the one for Vauban. Like, it even says in the notes that skin was inspired by Dead Space. And sometimes I'll actually... I know what he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
But, sometimes I'll forget, like, the things I've talked about with Rev, and I'll bring it up, like, hey, I think Vauban's skin looks a bit like Dead Space. 10 days later, hey, I think Vauban's skin looks like Dead Space. And it won't end.
Exactly. It's the endless cycle of, I think Valvin is from Dead Space.
That's just how my brain works. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. But no, oh my god, what's the word I'm looking for here?
I can't find it for the life of me. I'm on my phone though, so.
Okay, then I'm just going to go to it for a moment and pray my computer doesn't have a meltdown.
Well, what are you looking for? What is it?
The new operator.
Costumes.
Shooting lightning bolts. Why? You were shooting lightning bolts and I heard it.
You're shooting like, oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah.
Corpus themed operator outfit. Nope, that's a doodle.
Yes.
That's a drawing.
That's something we need. We need a Warframe that can Palpatine a motherfucker.
We need a Palpatine Warframe. I'm sorry.
This is the first time I've heard him actually laugh.
I'm sorry. I'm just picturing that now.
Do it.
And exactly, his ultimate is called Unlimited Power, and it's just a surge of lightning. No, okay, LT's right. It is Volt Prime. We already have it.
What? Oh, ow. Poison.
Well, unfortunately, can't find.
We can't find it. Just drop it.
Yeah,
they look like Corpus. Done. That's it.
I was going to mention something else actually about it. What I was going to say is that much like everything else in Fortuna, it all looks like it's part of. It honestly looks like something out of Lost Planet. You know, the heavy industrial look, built for the cold kind of thing. It's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, that actually was something I did like about that game.
Yeah, again, all these operator costumes look like they would belong to Lost Planet, but in a good way. I'm not saying they're ripping them off. I'm just saying it's like...
You can see the inspiration there.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, most of those suits, if I don't mind saying it, those could be what the Fortuna citizens might have looked like out when they were human, before becoming cybernetics. something to keep in mind is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. What else did they cover on the
MOAs?
Yeah, that's it. The MOAs and the
Oh
new
my
cross.
god, I think everyone's heart melted.
I love that part where she crouched and like, oh, it's not gonna crouch, and then it did.
And
It
they're
was
like,
the cutest thing ever. Also, I feel bad for Legs.
yeah, poor Legs.
Also,
He's
though,
more machine than man now.
oh my god, you actually made that joke. He's gone that.
Take it
he's
easy,
gone overboard,
Satan.
guys. We gotta put him down.
No, the MOAs are amazing. I'm so happy they have this concept now.
Down. Oops. Hopefully this isn't going crazy on me again.
Okay, I have a question for you. If you could have any of the MOAs as a MOA buddy, what would you have?
Well, I'm gonna have it curious like R2D2. Because like that's like there's these chips that you can get to make them give these noises that give them personality, and one of them is a blue chip where they're curious, like R2D2.
Okay.
But I would give them a.
Okay.
I don't know what the bow tie does, but I want to give them a bow tie.
Just give them the bow tie to be fancy.
I want a fusion MOA.
You can't have a fusion MOA, dude.
Well, you know what I mean.
Which of the MOAs that already exist that we'd want?
Yeah, if you could make it.
Versa.
Yeah. No, that's a whole new pet.
Ambulance. No, give me the fucking ambulance.
Again, that's the Mastery Rank 26 MOA parts.
Okay, LT brings up an interesting thing. The MOA pets are gonna outdo the Kavats. Yes.
Well, they're only recent. They're going to be adding a mod for Kubrow's and Kavats that everybody really wants, which is the vacuum mod, where they actually pick up stuff for you.
The universal vacuum.
Well,
it's been
not
20
universal,
years in
it's
the
just
making.
going to be specific to...
Don't ruin this for me, Liam. Let me have it.
But, if, in all honesty, like, if I had to pick, like, a kind of MOA I would want, it would either be a Stomp MOA or a Fusion MOA.
Ambulance or Bursa for me. Because fuck that. Too many Shockwave MOAs have died within 2 seconds of coming out of that pod after I hack it.
Well, no, that's because this is like scaled and modded up and everything to match your crazy stupid levels and so on and so forth. So it would be so much stronger than that. I mean, just think about that though. It'd basically be if you main a frame that doesn't have good crowd control, you just bring your MOA buddy and he just stomps their ass into the dirt for you. Almost literally.
To go back to the dev stream for a moment, there is something else I found interesting about what they said. You know, the Garuda crossbow, you know, that's going to be her thing, so yeah. But what I actually found interesting was they're changing mining.
Oh,
so
yeah.
What is it? It's no longer going to be you just have to draw a dick in the ground and it'll just pop out. It's
phrasing.
Look, you know,
dude,
you think I'm joking.
Dude, the intro to this episode was Rev talking about Resident Evil controllers sucking his dick.
Yes.
Oh, you mean the Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller?
No. Dude, just when this is over, just go to the beginning of the show. Trust me, you're gonna laugh.
Oh, I know. Oh god, that's a priest.
But no, basically.
That's a priest?
It's
a Mormon.
I'm allowed to say that.
Shit, it's a Christian.
No, it's a priest pastor and a rabbi. Oh god.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sorry. Everything that I say can be taken so hard.
I will.
Oh fuck! It's
I
a
will-
Catholic.
No. I will fight my way through the bosses. Through the stages of Christianity until I finally face the final boss, the Pope.
Oh my god!
Depends on which era you're going through, because if you fight the Pope in certain eras, you're fucked.
I'm going to go there. Then after I fight the Pope, I'll unlock the secret final boss of Jesus.
If I make the cards against humanity junk,
That should
and
be.
then
That
specialty
should,
boss, and then specialty boss, Black Gingerbread Jesus.
We're going to hell.
oh, you know it.
Oh, I have seats reserved.
Mm-hmm.
But
Who
no.
knows?
but-
Maybe the big guy. Who knows? Maybe the big guy likes the blasphemous joke every time and again. Maybe he's mellowed out with time.
But no, to quote what I was going to say about the dick for a second. It's actually possible, and people have proven it, that you could actually get the most ore out of mining in Warframe by just drawing a dick on the rock.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure DE discovered this and like, no, this isn't what we wanted this to do. So now it's just basically you putting the tool over the hotspot and just kind of playing a mini game with a circle,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is better. I think it's a lot better. But yeah. And that basically covers everything for the dev stream 118.
Yeah.
All right, I think that covers everything for now.
There's a weird tangent about like religious leaders for a split second.
It's not the most blasphemous thing I've ever done.
Oh yeah. I have quite literally done worse, and it's not even been my
Hell.
fault.
Anyway, before I forget, what is our time right now? How long have we been doing this?
Only an hour, but like we're
Oh.
2 minutes away from 2 hours.
Okay, all right. Oh yeah, we didn't take any breaks, and
Yeah.
it shows in my audio.
Eh.
Again, for everyone who wonders why we take breaks, it's specifically so we can reset our audio.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about all those jokes for a second there, but at the same time, I'm not sorry.
Again, I have done worse, and again, it has not even been my fault. Like, one of my most famous stories is, like, my nephew joins me to answer the door from, like, those door-to-door Bible salesmen, and he's holding a bloody toy squirrel asking where the sacrificial altar is in front of them.
That is brilliant.
And the second time, with him again, walking down the street, passing a church, and I'm wearing, like, jewelry from, like, my native tribe. And, of course, I got a guy from the Christian group who's yelling at me, and my nephew is, like, drinking a red Slurpee, and he turns around, he just lets it ooze out of his mouth. And, he tells him, you better watch your mouth before she curses you, like she's done to me.
No, you know what my favorite one is? And this was a real thing I did. I saw a bunch of... I was just minding my own business one day, right? Just on my way. It was late one night. I was trying to get back home from work. I had a totally shit day. I was out of it completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I'm going there, I get just like those door-to-door Bible sellers, right? I get two of those pricks on my case. Young fellows, by the way, too. And they're just giving me these constant talks and lectures and yada, 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 just trying to get me to look at the good book. And then I finally have enough, and I'm like, I just turn around. I start talking Spanish, but really quickly, just to give the illusion that I'm talking in tongues. And I shit you not, they just start walking away as if I was about to start spitting my head around and vomiting up blood. They're like, no, we're done, we're done.
So, you know how I used to work at a movie theater, and there's this building behind us at the end of a really shitty empty lot. I believe it's like a lawyer or something like that. I don't really remember what it's meant to do. And I'm walking around. This is like my first day of work. I'm about to do something in this movie theater. I am nervous as hell. I'm a little spooked, so I'm going for a walk while waiting for the doors to open. And 3 like religious guys come out of their car, and instead of going up into the building where they're supposed to be, they immediately walk around the building to talk to me. And one of them even says, we're going to a very important meeting to get permission to build a new church in a place where you really are not allowed to build.
Oh God, I got sent more.
And they're talking to me, and I'm not religious. I'm not religious at all. I actually fucking hate it. Like, you do you. Just stay the fuck away from me. So after a while, I pulled out a rock that I had in my hand, is like petrified wood, and I held it up and like rubbing it in circles, and I told him, my master wants me to tell you to fuck off, and then I walked away.
My master wants me to tell you to fuck off. I want that now as a...
Yeah, but here is the best part. They gave me, with no context, they gave me a picture of Jesus. Just a picture of Jesus. So what I did is, like, I took some pictures of it, and each time I took a picture, I would get closer to the face. So now, like, whenever I'm bored, I will send pictures of Jesus slowly getting closer to my friends with no context. And at the end, it says, "I smell you sitting."
This is amazing.
I smell you sitting. I love that. It's like that famous image of the Jesus statue with the eyes just bugging out, looking down. but no, seriously.
No.
What I wanted to say was that bit where you said my master wants you to fuck up. Like, that has to be like something in an anime or anything where just the villain just does not give a fuck about the super generic hero character, and he just says, "Look, just go tell him to fuck off." And the servant's just way too fucking literal and just walks out and says, "My master wants you to fuck off."
But like, with me, like when they started talking to me, I immediately told them, I don't follow religion. I believe I believe in Earth. I believe in Mother Earth, Mother Nature. And they took that as me being pagan, something like that, which is not what I am. So I had to finish it off with holding a piece of petrified wood in front of me, holding it and like rubbing it in like slow circles and looking really like zoned out, and then walking away. And do keep in mind, as I was walking away, I was like starting to shake my hand and move it about, and like even point towards the tree and then like down towards the road. It looked like I was being guided by a rock.
Allow me to guide you, my disciple, says the mighty rock god.
Well, the good news is they didn't get the church approved.
Oh, good.
I'm literally like a block away from what I call the Hollywood walkway of churches.
You're lucky. Where I used to live in the UK, no joke, there was a church that still had the fucking bell in it.
Well,
and almost
like one of the churches on the walkway is a school. I feel bad for those kids.
No. And the thing about that church is every hour on the dot. Every hour, like at 8 on the dot or something crazy like that. You just hear this horrible clanging. And as this goes on, I'm like, God, if you're real out there, do me a solid. Make the fucking bell fall.
To answer your question, LT, petrified wood is not as rare as you think. I used to work at a bead store for a while, and they would get these beautiful gemstones and petrified wood and fossilized teeth and bone. And one of the petrified pieces, I really liked it. I liked how it felt in my hand.
Excuse me.
So like the
Sure.
B store owner let me keep it, and I still have it.
All right. Not to, unfortunately, not to cut this, all these amazing stories of comedy, but unfortunately, we do need to kind of wrap this up for the evening.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours 6 minutes.
Jesus. All right. Well, like always.
I mean, we already talked about that.
Anyway, well,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, so once again, like always, I want to thank everyone for coming out once again for this episode of Left for Random Talk. As always, this has been Rev, Liam, HH, wishing you good luck and good night.
Yeah.
be safe. Don't do anything stupid.
Mhm.
So I haven't left the call yet. I am actually still in the call. I am just deafened, so they won't interrupt. As per usual, I say this at the end of every stream that I do. Well, I try to. But I always say this at the end of every podcast episode. So right now it's just me in the audience. On Twitch, there is a creeper face. Don't click on that. If there's anything there right now that says click this to support the stream, don't click on it, because it's not going to help. What is actually going to help is getting the word out there. I've only just recently learned that Restream has not been posting the links on Twitter. So I have been relying heavily on Tumblr and YouTube and Twitch itself and their own little personal notifications, which isn't very reliable on YouTube side. But whenever we go live, regardless if you're joining or not, share the links. Get the word out there that we're streaming. It really does help us out a lot more than clicking a donation link right at this moment. I'm actually very close to getting that working. I try to stream every day. Sometimes it's games, sometimes it's art, sometimes it's this. And with this one, we stream this podcast every Thursday unless something comes up. I don't plan to I do plan to stream tomorrow, possibly. Yeah, I'm going to stream tomorrow. It's going to be either a game or artwork. We'll see. Just for now, thank you so much for joining us. I will see you guys. I need to open this. Hold on. I forgot I can't just click a link and it'll open. I will see you guys tomorrow and next Thursday. Take care. Have a happy Halloween.